I'm recording this right after the Carnage video because I wanted to get this one out, but I'm gonna post it a little bit later. Yeah, Mr. Sato here though. Welcome to part 2 of What If Naruto Was Trained by the Grand Priest. I'm gonna hop straight into the Land of the Waves arc. So, everything goes as normal, besides when they meet with the Demon Brothers, Naruto helps fight them, and he has an easy time defeating his opponent. And now, when they're walking, a sword flies above them, making them all duck. And it lands in a tree, where some man would appear on top of the blade. He would then introduce himself to be Zabuza, and before Kakashi could even get ready to fight with him, Naruto would say, "I don't care who you are, but if you stand in my way of this mission, you'll have to perish." As he would pull out a dagger he had gotten a while ago, and he would disappear from everyone's sight, appearing in front of Zabuza, slashing at him with the dagger. Zabuza was narrowly able to dodge it, only getting cut on the cheek. And then he would swing his sword at Naruto, but swinging it on the blunt side, as he doesn't want to kill him just yet. But Naruto was able to step on the blade, like he would twist his body, put his feet to the blade, and use his ki to launch him into the air, as he didn't want to reveal that he could fly, not yet. And then he would start spinning, doing multiple 180s, as he came down with a mighty kick to Zabuza's head that sent him flying to the ground. Zabuza would land before hitting the ground, though, and he would jump back up at Naruto, and they would clash sword and dagger, I guess. And Zabuza would be using all of his force, but Naruto was able to hold off against Zabuza's sword, which he was confused, as Naruto is using a dagger, and not only is he using a dagger, he's holding it with one hand, and Zabuza swinging his sword full force with two hands, and Zabuza's a grown man, so yeah, he's confused. And eventually Naruto would then use ki in his hands to power past Zabuza's sword, sending him into the ground. And while he falls down, he powers up a ki ball in his hands, and he gets ready to shove it into Zabuza's chest. But Zabuza rolls to the side, narrowly dodging. And then he would fixate himself upwards, and then he would switch his sword around where the sharp side was in front. He would then run at Naruto and swing his blade at Naruto, and it would seemingly cut straight through him. But Naruto had used a substitution jutsu, which he had learned from copying Kakashi. And Naruto appeared behind him, getting ready to stab him. But Zabuza had turned around and hit Naruto in the face with the handle of the sword. Naruto didn't expect that, so he didn't prepare for that attack. And then Zabuza would jump up in the air, slamming his sword down onto Naruto. And Naruto would stop it with his dagger. And once again, Zabuza was just as confused, as now he has the upper hand. He jumped and swung his sword down onto Naruto, and Naruto's still holding it back. So he just wonders how strong this kid actually is. And Naruto would then hold out his other hand, and he would make a chakra ki infused blast, and he would shoot Zabuza with it, and it would hit him in his ribs, sending him flying. And then in a blur, Zabuza disappeared, as a mist Anbu claimed that they were looking for him, and they were going to put him to death. So Team 7 had left, and Kakashi didn't have to waste energy fighting Zabuza. So he was able to train the three as soon as they got to Tazuna's house. Because they still ended up stopping them. So that's what he did. He would teach them all how to tree walk and stuff, but Naruto would skip out on this training, as he can fly, and he'll just pick it up later. So, yeah. And Naruto never goes off by himself to just, so he never meets Haku. So now, they're going to the bridge, and this is how it goes. Sasuke would confront Haku, and they would get into a battle. Sasuke would run at Haku and dodge 3 Senbon that Haku had thrown at him. And then he would deliver a gut punch to Haku's stomach, and then he would knee Haku in the chin, just barely missing the mask that was on Haku's face. And then Haku would sweep Sasuke's leg, sending him on the ground. And Naruto would kick Haku's ankle, making him fall down to one knee, as he would then stand up pretty swiftly too, and he would punch Haku on the side of the head, once again missing a mask that Haku wore. Haku would then be forced to use his technique already, as he would make the ice mirrors appear around Sasuke. And this is where he would get the upper hand, pretty much doing the same thing he did in the original. And out of pure anger and the thought of that he was gonna die on his first real mission, Sasuke would activate his 3 Tomoe Sharingan. And he would start being able to dodge Haku's Senbon with ease. Even when Haku started picking up the pace, going full speed, he was still able to dodge his Senbon. And eventually, when Haku had flew out of one of his mirrors, Sasuke was able to land a fireball jutsu that would send Haku out of his ice mirrors by the sheer power. And then they would begin fighting again, Sasuke beating the brakes off of Haku. And eventually, getting ready to end the fight, Sasuke would try out this new trick. He would say, lightning style, lightning bolt, as a blue bolt would be shot out of his hand, but then it would turn purple. As the attack impacted Haku, it left Haku paralyzed from the neck down, and slowly he was dying. Naruto would square off with Zabuza once more, as Zabuza this time doesn't intend on toying with Naruto. He instantly makes a water clone, and they both charge at Naruto. He would swing his sword at Naruto, and Naruto would block it with his dagger. And then the water clone Zabuza would roll over Zabuza's back, over Naruto, appearing behind him, and slicing at Naruto. And Naruto would lift his dagger up from Zabuza's sword, and block this attack. And both the Zabuzas would be, going around Naruto, flipping over him, slicing at him from the side, front, doesn't matter. And Naruto was blocking, dodging, and pretty much holding his own. Until Zabuza would then grab Naruto's leg and throw him in the air, which was a big mistake, as Naruto would then let out a flurry of ki blasts, each one hitting Zabuza in the water clone, destroying the water clone, and significantly injuring Zabuza. And he almost destroyed the bridge, but luckily, the 2 ki blasts that were fired at the bridge had missed. Then, Naruto would land on his feet, and finally, would reveal that he could fly. Flying at Zabuza with extreme speed, he would grab him by the face, and put his head into the bridge. Then he would fly up into the air and drop him. And as he thought, he would say, that's a, not a good way for a warrior to die. So he would fly down right before Zabuza hit the ground, and he would kick him full force in the gut, sending him flying to the other side of the bridge and making him cough up blood. Zabuza truly had met his match, as he would then rush at Naruto weakly, holding his gut, and his sword was dragging on the floor. Naruto just wants to end the fight now, as he would walk up to Zabuza. And Zabuza, with the last ounce of his strength, would swing his sword at Naruto. But Naruto just caught the blade, as he would then snap the blade in two. And then, in a swift movement, his dagger was plunged deep into Zabuza's neck, killing Zabuza. And as they walked, Gato's men had appeared, but he let Sasuke and Kakashi handle it. And when they returned to the village, Sasuke instantly challenged Naruto. So Naruto would be like, alright, I guess I can fight you. Naruto would go into the QB influence, as he doesn't reveal that his base form can take on a 3 Tomoe Sharingan Sasuke. And he doesn't really want Sasuke to know that he's this strong, or it wouldn't be fun. So Naruto, with extreme speed, would appear in front of Sasuke, and he would uppercut him into the air. Sasuke would turn around and launch a fireball at Naruto, which Naruto had dispersed with his hand. And he would jump up at Sasuke and throw a punch, which Sasuke had dodged airborne, and he would judo slam Naruto to the ground from the air. And when he would land on the ground, he would try to kick Naruto in the face, but Naruto would press his hand, like push off the ground, dodging the attack, and then he would kick Sasuke in the back, sending him flying. When Sasuke had recovered, he would run at Naruto and yell out, lightning style, lightning bolt, sending the blue lightning bolt at Naruto. Naruto would say, wind style, wind breakthrough, as he would launch massive amounts of wind at the lightning bolt, and the lightning bolt would be dispersed. But the wind would still push Sasuke away, sending him into a tree. But Sasuke wasn't done yet, as he would run back at Naruto with a kunai, and he would slice at Naruto. Naruto would pull out his dagger and block the attack before putting his dagger back in his toolkit. Well, strapped onto out of the strap on top on his toolkit, cause like on his toolkit it's like a little circle thing on the back where he keeps his kunai. Well, on the front of it on the pouch, and he puts his dagger in there. Before kicking Sasuke in the ribs and then punching him in the face. Before Sasuke can get up, he's then grabbed by the leg and he's dragged through the ground before getting thrown into the air and elbowed on the side of the face, being knocked out. I'm time skipping to when the tuning exams start, and Naruto is walking and he sees Konohamaru being grabbed by some older kid, but the kid seems to be around Naruto's age. So Naruto walks over to Kankuro, the man holding Konohamaru, and just his aura alone is intimidating Kankuro. Kankuro can see a red aura around him mixed with some purple in it, and he would see a fox, but it wasn't standing on all fours. It was floating with one hand behind his back and one hand held out in front of him, as if he was charging up something. And there were 9 tails on the back. He would be truly terrified, as Naruto's eyes would glow red, and the purple in the aura that he would see behind Naruto would become more clear, and there would be more of it. As he would walk over to Kankuro and grab his hand, making him fall out of his trance and instantly fall into pain as Naruto started squeezing his arm. He would yell out in pain, and Gaara would then step down from where he was at, and he would tell Naruto to let go of Kankuro's hand. And Naruto would stare Gaara in his eyes, and he would push Kankuro away. As he would walk up to Gaara, having his sand ready, Naruto was gonna get ready to destroy him. As he just watched as this guy bullied a kid. So Naruto's eyes glow red. And Gaara gets scared for a moment. But then Sasuke and Sakura will tell Naruto that they're gonna be late if they don't get a move on. So Naruto snaps out of it and walks away. But in his mind, he swears that he will get him. Kurama would then start talking in Naruto's head, and he would say, why didn't you just beat him into a bloody pulp? You know you could have. And you could have done it fast, too. And Naruto would say, I want to do it when people are watching, so he'll be humiliated publicly. And this would make Kurama smile. So, now, in Shin, everything goes pretty good. Naruto is a lot smarter as he has had education from the Grand Priest, so he passes the writing exams, no problem. The Forest of Death was a breeze. Naruto never really had to pee, and he was quickly able to locate where people were since he can sense ki, and they were quickly able to find someone with the opposing scroll. They took it from him, and they made it to the place they were supposed to be. So they don't encounter Orochimaru or the sound. So Sasuke never gets the curse mark. For now, at least. And so the first rounds are up, and Gaara fights Rock Lee like in normal. And well, all the fights that happen like normal, besides Naruto and Kiba's. Kiba and Akamaru will waste no time rushing after Naruto. And Kiba would slash at Naruto, but Naruto would just catch his arm before slamming him onto the ground. And Akamaru would try to pounce onto Naruto, but Naruto would just dodge out of the way. And then Kiba would get back up to try to charge at Naruto, and he would pounce at him just like Akamaru had done. And Naruto would lift up his leg, putting his heel on the chest of Kiba, and rotating, like his leg is straight up too, and then he would rotate his leg to the right, sending Kiba away, and then he would make his foot land back on the ground. So it pretty much moved like the hand on a clock. Yeah, that's pretty much what he did with his leg. And then when Akamaru had appeared from behind, from when Kiba had got thrown away, Naruto would grab Akamaru by the back of the head and put him on the ground, restraining him so he couldn't do anything. Kiba would yell, "Let Akamaru go!" And he would say, "Fang over fang." And he started spinning around in a fang formation. And Akamaru tried spinning, but he couldn't, since Naruto was holding him down. Well, my phone's gonna die. But then he would clash with Naruto's hand, and he would be confused. Naruto was holding off the fang over fang technique with just his hand. And this is because his hand had ki and chakra infused in it, so it wasn't getting, like, scratched up or anything. And his pure, like, his own strength was just holding back Kiba. And then he would redirect Kiba to the ground, and he would grab Akamaru loosely, though, so he still had enough room to spin which would make Akamaru go into the feint formation and slam him into the back of Kiba, knocking Kiba out. Now, they get their break like usual, and Naruto trains by himself until Jiraiya appears, and he trains with Jiraiya for a bit, learning the Rasengan. But it's kind of useless because as soon as he sees the Rasengan, he already knows what it is because he's done it before, just not like that. Yeah. Naruto still wants to beat Neji into a pulp like in the original. So when they're fighting, Naruto goes straight into the QB influence and he rushes at Neji, kicking him in the chin, and then jumping up, slamming both of his fists down onto to Neji's back, sending him into the ground. Neji would stand back up, and Naruto would appear in front of Neji. Neji would have expected this, and he did the rotation, sending Naruto back. But Naruto would catch himself before running back at Neji like a wild beast. And Neji would palm at Naruto, but Naruto would dodge by lowering his left shoulder and making the palm just slide against his back. And then Naruto would roll over the palm and go onto the side of Neji and slap him away, sending him to the other wall of the arena. And Neji would get back up as Naruto made a clone, and they would both rush at Neji, punching him in his gut and grabbing his arm, slamming him onto the ground. Neji would get up and put some distance between the two, as he would then start rambling on about destiny. And Naruto hates the way he's talking to him, as Naruto views himself as a god. But he doesn't try to push his greatness on other people, like, I'm greater than you and I want you to know that. But now he really wants to make Neji feel pain, so he doesn't hold back. And he goes into Ultra Instinct, and swiftly he flies past Neji, and I'm gonna say the exact number of punches he had landed on Neji. 1,500 punches. And then he would quickly go back into his base, so no one around the stadium would have seen the form. And Neji would drop to his knees before passing out. Sasuke versus Gaara goes pretty much like in the original, but Sasuke totally wipes Gaara, even worse than in the original. And Gaara would go into his partial Shukaku form, and he would run out into the woods with Sasuke following after. Sasuke and Gaara would begin to fight. Sasuke would run up to Gaara, punching him in the face and then punching him in the gut. But when he looked back at Gaara, it didn't faze him at all, as he was then smacked away by Gaara's arm. And then Gaara would shoot multiple sand needles at him, contacting with Sasuke. As he then jumped at Sasuke, swiping at him, Sasuke was just barely able to dodge, and Gaara's attack had broke through the tree with ease. He would then look back at Sasuke, who was behind him, and he would launch more sand needles at him, which Sasuke, in retaliation, had weaved hand signs and did the Chidori, slashing through the spikes, and he would appear in front of Gaara, getting ready to pierce through him. But Gaara would use his sand hand to block it, and it worked effectively. And Gaara used his other hand to grab Sasuke's face and punch him in the gut with his reformed sand hand. And then he flicked some sand off of his arm, and it got into Sasuke's eyes, because he knows about what the Sharingan's abilities are. So he does that, so Sasuke can't really see him, so he can't really use the Sharingan to its fullest abilities. And this is where Sasuke starts losing the battle, and he starts getting beat down by Gaara. And then, out of nowhere, Gaara screams in agony as he then goes into a full Shukaku form, and he gets ready to kill Sasuke. Naruto appears in his base at first, but he doesn't know how strong the Biju are, as Kurama never told him that there were any others. Well, he told him about others, but he never told them how strong they was. So he severely overestimated his opponent. He would go back into Ultra Instinct, seeing that there's a passed out Sasuke, so Sasuke won't know what he's doing, what he did. And he would swiftly be, like, you would see white flashes around Shukaku's body, fully enclosing his body in a sphere. That was Naruto flying around Shukaku's body so fast that it looked like there could have been multiple of him. And each time he flew past, he threw over 10,000 punches, destroying the sand completely and waking Gaara up with the final punch to the face, sending him flying into a tree. But he doesn't fall down, since he was punched so hard into the tree, he's literally inside the tree. Then Kankuro and Temari would ask Naruto to spare Gaara when they make it, and they would take Gaara away. So not a lot of damage has been done, since Sasuke did better than in the original at holding off Gaara, and then Naruto beat Gaara a lot faster and less damage was caused. But Hiruzen still dies, and Naruto attends the funeral. And that's where I'm going to end this one off. Hope you guys liked it, but I'll see you guys next time.